Welcome to Forgotten Hollywood. Disney is at it again with their next reboot, Snow White. And this is a reboot, not a remake, as explained in my last video, link in the description. Here we see a Latina in the title role, ignoring the description of the character that has been around for over 220 years. She is paired with 7 so-called magical creatures that look like they were recruited from an artsy street fair in Portland. I would know, I grew up there. All this in order to make the classic fairy tale more interesting to modern audiences. The thing is, the idea of updating this fairy tale isn't new. From horror movies to turning the poisoned apple into a laptop with a virus. This is one of the most popular fairy tales to retell. In 2002, one of my favorite versions came out. Snow White, the fairest of them all, was made by Hallmark as a reimagining of the original story, but it kept the core elements. There was still a girl with skin as white as snow, a jealous queen, a handsome prince, and 7. Okay, this is where it differs. This version was the earliest I found with gender and height diversity. The 7 creatures were embodiments of the 7 days of the week and responsible for controlling the weather. In addition to that, one is female and one is tall. Among the actors playing these magical beings are Martin Kleba as Friday.
I'm Friday.
And Warwick Davis as Saturday. Even with this deviation from the source material, the main story isn't negatively affected. Snow White is still a child wished for by her mother, who died shortly after her birth. Her father still marries again to a vain and evil woman. There is still a magical mirror and a poisoned apple. Other elements are taken straight from the original fairy tale and a few other stories by the Brothers Grimm, including Snow White and Rose Red. On top of that, the costumes and actors look great, especially considering they had a budget of a early 2000s TV movie. In my opinion, Kristen Crook is the best actress I've seen in the title role. She embodied the character in both her look and the manner in which she played the princess. The queen was portrayed by the talented Miranda Richardson. 10 years later, the movie Mirror Mirror hit theaters and provided a more comedic take on the classic tale. A much bigger budget brought the characters to life with more extravagant costumes and a very stylized look. This version includes 7 dwarves, a vain queen, a magic mirror, a handsome prince, true love's kiss, and a princess with black hair and skin as white as snow.
Her hair is not black, it's raven, and she's 18 years old, and her skin has never seen the sun, so of course it's good.
What made this one stand out to me, other than the outlandish-looking goofy comedy, was the dwarves. Each one had their own personality and backstory, conveyed in a way that you understood the characters without disrupting the flow of the story or taking too much screen time off the title character. I would like to add that Martin Kleba once again aided Snow White in this film as Butcher, a character much more grumpy than Friday. While Mirror Mirror keeps many aspects of the Grimm's fairy tale, it also differs slightly, particularly the end with the poisoned apple. I won't spoil it, but things play out differently than in the classic story. There are also a few other things added, both for suspense and comedy. But like with the other, it is still recognizable as Snow White beyond just the name of the character. I should note this version does emphasize the strong female character, and she is about as far removed as the damsel in distress as you can get without becoming a Mary Sue. If by chance you are unfamiliar with the term, I will include a link to my video on the subject in the description. Julia Roberts was wonderful as the Queen, and Lily Collins plays Snow White in her first starring role. Next March, Disney is planning to release the most recent take on this story. According to the star, Rachel Zegler, this one is not even going to include the prince, so I think it's safe to assume True Love's Kiss is also out the window. The focus of this story seems to be about Snow White's ambition, which is a strange turn of events considering the Queen's ambition to be fairest of them all is what makes her a villain. Then again, modern Disney doesn't seem to know the difference between good characters and bad anymore. If you don't believe me, see Maleficent, Cruella, Peter Pan, and Captain Hook. My point in all of this is that you can update a fairy tale without losing the essence of the story. Key elements are key elements for a reason. You take those away and what's left? Even the poor representation of the tale in 2007's Sydney White, which starred Amanda Bynes and took place on a college campus, had charming Tyler Prince and the vain Rachel Wishburne, both recognizable as the representations of their fairy tale counterparts. 7 men that take Sydney in and an Apple computer complete the package. Modern or not, it is still recognizably Snow White, right down to the kiss. What is being reported as the next remake doesn't sound like Snow White. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be missing both the details and the heart of this fairy tale. Such a shame. Thanks for watching. Which version of Snow White is your favorite? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, and I will catch up with you next time.